But to the woman, death the God would life. All human face, put off mind-painted masks. The animal being, the worm that nature meant, except thy future birth, thy whole life. But Savitri replied to mighty death, my heart is wiser than the heathen's sword. My heart is stronger than thy bonds, O death. It sees and feels the one heartbeat in all. It feels the high transcendent sunlight hands. Death bowed his sovereign head in cold assent. I give to thee, saved from death and poignant fate, whatever once the living Satyavan desired in his heart for Savitri. Return, O child, to thy forsaken earth. But Savitri replied, thy gifts resist. Earth cannot flower if lonely I return.
Radhavan, good morning.
Yeah. Namaste.
Yeah.
I will wait for them all to come.
There's 7 people on YouTube.
Welcome.
Yeah, so there are 10 people attending.
So we're waiting for everyone to arrive. Like that.
So there is 8 people on YouTube already looking.
Oh,
Plus those two, it's 10 people. There are 2 ways to see.
I see.
On YouTube, I see that 8 people are watching. They won't be able to communicate with you, but they are watching.
Can you give me the names? Or Zach can give me.
Dilip is here, Class and Tara. So Dilip is coming now.
Doesn't matter.
Names are not communicated.
Doesn't matter. Dilip Kumar Roy. Welcome, Dilip. Sandhya. Tinaka. Welcome, Tinaka. Jijubai has joined us. Welcome, Jijubai. So you tell me when everybody's ready.
You can start.
Shall I start? Yes. So we're expecting a couple more people to come, but we're going to start now. We've reached the beginning of Canto 3, Book 10, the debate of love and death. In the previous canto, Death has been describing to Savitri his way of seeing things. And the canto ends with him telling to Savitri, "O soul, misled by the splendor of thy thoughts, O earthly creature with thy dream of heaven, obey, resigned and still, the earthly law. Accept the light that falls upon thy days. Take what thou canst of life's permitted joy. Submitting to the ordeal of fate's scourge, suffer what thou must of toil and grief and care. There shall approach, silencing thy passionate heart, my long, calm night of everlasting sleep. There, into the hush from which thou camest, retire. This is his wise advice to Savitri. This next canto is the debate of love and death. And here, first of all, we get Savitri's reply to him. We read this already last time. So I'm moving on now to page 629 at the break. Death has been expressing to Savitri his way of seeing things, which corresponds to our human way of seeing things in many respects. Savitri is answering him with a much higher kind of truth, a much more illumining truth. So I am starting on page 629 at the break. A secret air of pure felicity, deep like a sapphire heaven, our spirits breathe. Our hearts and bodies feel its obscure call. Our senses grope for it and touch and lose. If this withdrew, the world would sink in the void. It is that secret air of pure felicity, of pure bliss, which is keeping the world in existence. Our spirits breathe that atmosphere, and our hearts and bodies feel its attraction. Our senses are always feeling out for that bliss. Occasionally they touch it, we experience it for a moment, then it's gone. But if this secret air of pure felicity, if this withdrew, the whole world would sink in the void, into the emptiness, the nothingness. If this secret air were not, nothing could move or live. A hidden bliss is at the root of things. A mute delight, a silent delight, regards, watches, times, countless works. This is the joy of the Spirit, of the Divine, to house God's joy in things. Space gave wide room to house God's joy in self. Our souls were born. this universe an old enchantment guards. It's holding and protecting an ancient magic. The objects of this universe are carved cups of world delight, whose charmed wine is some deep soul's rapture drink. Wine, of course, is the symbol of divine delight. The all-wonderful has packed heaven with his dreams. He has made blank, ancient space his marvel house. He spilled his matter, he spilled his spirit into matter's signs. His fires of grandeur burn in the great sun. He glides through heaven, shimmering in the moon. He is beauty, caroling in the fields of sound. He chants the stanzas of the odes of wind. He is silence, watching in the stars at night. He wakes at dawn and calls from every bough, lies stunned in the stone, and dreams in flower and tree. Dilip, would you like to read? Klaus? Line 336 on page 630. Yes, please go ahead, Klaus.
A secret air of pure felicity, deep like a sapphire heaven our spirits breathe. Our hearts and bodies feel its obscure call. Our senses grope for it and touch and glimpse. If this withdrew, the world would sink in the void. If this were not, nothing could move or live. A hidden bliss is at the root of things. A mute delight regards time's countless words. To house God's joy in things, space gave wide room. To house God's joy in itself, our souls were born. This universe an old enchantment guards. Its objects are carved cups of world delight, whose charmed wine is some deep soul's raptured drink. The all-wonderful has packed the heaven of his dreams. He has made blank ancient space his marble house. He spilled his spirit into matter's signs. His fires of grandeur burn in the great sun. He glides through heaven, shimmering in the moon. He is beauty, caroling in the fields of sound. He chants the stanzas of the odes of wind. He is silent, watching the stars at night. He waits at dawn and calls for every dove. Lies stunned in the stone and dreams in flower and tree.
Thank you. Anybody would like to ask anything about these wonderful lines? Then we can read on. Tara, would you read?
Even in this labor and dolor of ignorance, on the hard perilous ground of difficult earth, in spite of death and evil circumstance, a will to live persists, a joy to be. There is a joy in all that meets the sense, a joy in all experience of the soul, a joy in evil and a joy in good, a joy in virtue and a joy in sin. Indifferent to the threat of karmic law, joy dares to grow upon forbidden soil. Its sap runs through the plant and flowers of pain. It thrills with the drama of fate and tragic doom. It tears its food from sorrow and ecstasy. On danger and difficulty whets its strength. It wallows with the reptile and the worm and lifts its head, an equal of the stars. It shares the fairies' dance, dines with the gnome. It basks in a light heat of many suns, the sun of beauty and the sun of power. Flatter and foster it with golden beams. It grows towards the Titan and the God. On earth it lingers, drinking its deep fill. Through the symbol of her pleasure and her pain, of the grapes of heaven and the flowers of the abyss, of the flame stabs and the torment craft of hell, and dim fragments of the glory of paradise. In the small paltry pleasures of man's life, in his petty passions and joys, it finds a taste in tears and torture of broken hearts, in the crown of gold and in the crown of thorns, in life's nectar of sweetness and its bitter wine. All being it explores for unknown bliss, sounds all experience things new and strange.
Thank you. We'll pause there. Anybody would like to ask anything? Any strange words or any comments to make on this? On what Savitri is saying. No? This is Savitri's account of our world. Shall we continue then? Jyotimai, you would like to read? Dilip?
Tina?
Tina. He left.
Tina.
Tinika can read. Or okay. Jyotimai will read. It's line 369. Life brings.
Can I go in the end?
Yes.
My internet is a bit
unstable.
Thanks, sir.
All right. Yeah. So, Tinaka, we're waiting for Tinaka to read. From line 369.
Please ask Tinaka to open her. Ask to unmute.
Now?
Yes, better.
Louder?
I think that's fine.
Okay, so brings into the earthly creature's day a tongue of glory, a higher spirit. It deepens in his and his eye. He leaps at the splendid word, fills in his high and noble deeds, wonders in his abyss bring. It climbs in his wallows, and demon brides share. Possessors or for life's heart. To the enjoyer, cosmic scene, greatness and his lyrical arm, his magnanimity and meanness cast and set background of the god. The art he admires will make, but not endures this danger beyond that men ever prove wisdom and glory, their perfect craft, truth calls to think. The soul turns to things. Every shrine a clasp of God. That is the crowning mystery.
Let's pause there, Tinaka. Sorry, we're not hearing you very clearly, so I'm going to ask you to pause there.
Which one? Which one?
At the bottom of the page, it's line 386, 789, 389. Then is there played the crowning mystery. Dilip is back.
Maybe Dave can, good job by Dave can read.
Yes. Did you buy? Will you read? From the bottom of the page, we can turn to the top of page 632.
He disappeared.
Jyotirmaya, will you read? No, she's having problems.
Yes, I can.
Yes.
Am I audible? Am I audible?
Yes, that's very fine. Yes.
Okay.
Top of page 632.
Yes. Immortal bliss, her wide celestial eyes opens on the stars. She stills her mighty limbs. Time thrills to the suffix of her amor song, and space fills with a white beatitude. Then leaving to its grief the human heart, abandoning speech and the name-determined realms. Through a gleaming far-seen sky of wordless thought, through naked, thought-free heavens of absolute sight. She climbs to the summits where the unborn idea, remembering the future that must be, looks down upon the works of the laboring force, immutable above the world it made. In the vast golden laughter of truth's sun, like a great heaven bird on a motionless sea, is poised her winged ardor of creative joy on the still deep of the eternal's peace. This was the aim, this the supernal law, nature's allotted task when beauty drenched in dim mist waters of inconscient sleep. Out of the void, this grand creation rose. For this, the Spirit came into the abyss and charged with its power matter's unknowing force. In night's...
Now you've gone. In night's bare session. Have we reached our end now? So, we're taking 5 minutes break now. 2 minutes break, and then we'll start again. We'll start again at this same line. This was the aim, line 406, 407. We take a short break.
So, everyone, we will be sending you another invitation by email on Zoom because we only have 40 minutes.
Ladies, come in front of the camera or Sharadan, repeat the information because nobody saw you today, so you might not know what is this voice.
Yes. I'm ending it now.
Class is back.
Jyoti also.
Jyoti also. So class, perhaps you'll go on line 407. This was the aim. But before we do that, I just wanted to point out that this page which we are reading now, it is about immortal bliss. As if she's a being, And there are some unusual words here. Immortal bliss opens her wide celestial eyes on the stars. She stirs her mighty limbs, the limbs that her body of the universe. Time thrills to the suffix of her amour song. This is a song of love. Sappho is renowned as the ancient Greek female poet who has written supremely about human love. But this is the love of the universe. When immortal bliss moves, space, the whole of space, fills with a white, pure beatitude. So then bliss leaves the human heart to its grief. She moves on. She moves away from human speech and the realms which are fixed or ruled by names and forms. She moves much higher through a gleaming, far-seen sky of wordless thought. She climbs to the summits, the peaks of existence, where the unborn idea, the idea which is yet to be born and manifested, that unborn idea remembers the future that must be, what has to happen in the future. And she looks down upon the works of laboring force, that force which has to do the work of manifesting the universe. In the vast golden laughter of truth's sun, like a great heaven bird on a motionless sea, is poised her winged ardor of creative joy. It's there at peace, it's ready to act and to manifest. But there, like a great bird, it is poised on the still deep of the Eternal's law. So I think we should read on from there. Santosh, would you like to take up the next line? Line 407. This was the aim.
Maybe class?
Class, yes? You're ready to read, class? Please do. This was the aim. And I think Jyotirmai is waiting. We can call her next. You go ahead, class.
This was the aim, this disciplinal law. Nature's allotted task in beauty drenched, in them mist waters of inconscient sleep. Out of a void, this grand creation rose. From this the spirit came into the abyss and charged with its power matters unknown force. In night's dear session to cathedral light, in death's realm repatriate immortality. The mystic slow transfiguration works. All our earth starts from mud and ends in sky. And love that was once an animal desire, being a sweet madness in the rapturous heart, an ardent comradeship in the happy heart, becomes a wide spiritual yearning's space. A lonely soul passions for the alone. The heart that loved man fills to the love of God. The body is his chamber and his shrine. Then is our being rescued from separateness. All is itself. All is new felt in God. A lover leaning from his cloister's door gathers the world into his single breast. Then shall the business fail of night and death, when unity is won, when strife is lost, and all is known and all is clasped by love. Who would turn back to ignorance and pain?
Thank you, Klaus. Thank you. We've got something very interesting in line 412. 410, 11, 12. In night's bare session to cathedral light. This word or this line here is the test, the acid test for aspiring translators who want to translate Savitri into another language. Here the word cathedral, which is normally a noun referring to a vast sacred space. Here, Sri Aurobindo audaciously uses it as a verb. In night's bare sessions, in the emptiness and the blackness and the darkness, the Lord will build a vast structure of pure light. In night's bare session, to turn light into a cathedral, a vast sacred space. And that will have the effect of bringing back the power of immortality even into the realm of death. This mystic, slow transfiguration. Transfiguration is different from transformation. Transfiguration means something taking on its true divine form. And he tells us we should always remember this, that all our earth starts from mud and ends in sky. And then Savitri shares with us the progress of love. Love may start at the animal level. Love that was once an animal's desire, and then something higher, a sweet madness in the rapturous heart, an ardent comradeship in the happy mind, becomes something even more precious, a wide spiritual yearning space in which a lonely soul passions for the alone. The heart that loved man thrills to the love of God. And when that happens, the body can become the chamber, the living room, the secret inner space, and the shrine of love, of God's love. That experience rescues our being from the separateness that all human beings suffer from. All is itself. All is new felt, newly experienced in God. And the lover, leaning from his cloister's door, the door of his special private room, embraces the whole world in his single breast. And this is a kind of promise that when this happens, then shall the business of night and death will fail, because unity will be won. Strife, struggle, and conflict will be finished, because all is known and all is clasped by love. So when you have had that experience, who would turn back to ignorance and pain? This is Savitri's answer to all the dark threats of death. Jyoti.
Bhagavan, can I ask something?
Yes, please do.
It's just a little thing like this, I don't even know how you say it in English, but these little commas when somebody starts to speak directly.
Yes.
Like now we have these ones again, but
Yes.
we had them already. Is there a special meaning why it's repeated? Because she's still speaking.
Where,
At the beginning of it also started, no secret air of pure felicity, when we started this morning.
633.
I don't have these quotation marks here.
Oh, you don't? Okay. Then it's
But
not
this
so
is
important, I think.
this is I'm using not the latest version. I think when you are reading in these small crown books, that is the 1993 revised edition of Savitri. Here in this 1972 edition, I'm not getting these quotation marks.
I have the one which is also laying always in the room to take.
Yes.
But maybe it's not important.
Of course, if Sjösbindo has put it there, it's always important. Now I'm looking at page 635, line 522. And
But
that's the end. The beginning of the speech is at line 500, and this is death. Now this is death speaking. He's calling her a priestess in imagination.
432, where we are now, is still Savitri speaking. Just where we are now.
Yes, 400.
but it's not in your book.
This is page what?
633.
Where we are now, page
633.
633, line 42.
Yes.
That's where we are now reading.
Yes, we would expect there to be quotation marks here before "O
It's
death."
there.
So you have it.
But
You're lucky.
Why? Because she's still speaking. Why would we repeat it?
Yes, this depends on different conventions of printing and expression. It reminds me of an old French novel that I had in my hand at one time. And there, every single line started with quotation marks. Every single line. For a long, long speech, somebody was telling a long story. Every single line had quotation marks. So here they've decided not to put them. But in the small book it's there, so I'm happy about that.
Thank you.
So shall we read down to the closing quotation marks on the bottom of page 333. Jyotimai, we're waiting for you to read if you're ready. No?
633.
It's page 633, line 432. O death.
Yes. O death, not for my heart's sweet poignancy, nor for my happy...
That comes later. Now you should be at the top of page 633, line 432. O death, I have triumphed over thee within. Can you find that?
Yes, I can find it. Hello?
Yes, please.
Am I audible?
Yes,
Yeah.
please go ahead. Yes.
Okay. O death, I have triumphed over thee within. I quiver no more with the assault of grief. A mighty calmness seated deep.
Now you've disappeared again.
Maybe
Am I audible?
No, sorry, we lost you there at the end of line 434.
Audible now?
Yes.
Okay. I can go again.
Yes, please start again with O death.
A mighty calmness seated deep within has occupied my body and my sense. It takes the world's grief and transmutes to strength. It makes the world's joy one with the joy of God. My love eternal sits throned on God's calm. For love must soar beyond the very heavens and find its secret sense ineffable. It must change its human ways to ways divine, and yet keep its sovereignty of earthly bliss. O death, not for my heart's sweet poignancy, nor for my happy body's bliss alone, I have claimed from thee the living Satyavan, but for his work and mine, our sacred charge. Our sacred charge. Our lives are God's messengers beneath the stars. To dwell under death's shadow they have come, tempting God's light to earth for the ignorant race. His love to fill the hollow in men's hearts. His bliss to heal the unhappiness of the world. For I, the woman, am the force of God. He, the Eternal's delegate soul in man. My will is greater than thy law, O death. My love is stronger than the bonds of fate. Our love is the heavenly seal of the Supreme. I guard that seal against thy rending hands. Love must not cease to live upon the earth, for love is the bright link twixt earth and heaven. Love is the far transcendence angel here. Love is man's lien on the absolute.
Thank you so much,
But
Jyoti
to
Mai.
the woman, death the God replied.
Just wait a moment, dear. Let us have a look at these wonderful lines. First of all, Savitri is stating very clearly the mission which she and Satyavan are to fulfill together. She's making very clear that the lives of the two of them are God's messengers beneath the stars. And the two of them have come into our earth to attract God's light to come here and uplift the human beings, to help love to fill the emptiness in men's hearts and heal the unhappiness of the world. It's one of the two places in the poem where we get this mission of Savitri and Satyavan, the joint mission of Savitri and Satyavan, declared, made clear. And the idea that love is not just something abstract, that it also has to become active and material in the world. Love must not cease to live upon the earth. Love is the bright link, the connection between earth and heaven. And love is the far transcendent angel here. The transcendent seems to be very far away from us, beyond the universe. But love, true love, is the messenger linking earth and heaven. And love is men's lien on the absolute. This word means a claim, the sign of a claim. The fact that we human beings can feel love gives us a connection with the Supreme, with the Lord. Dilip, you've come back. Would you like to read?
He doesn't have any. Tara?
Tara, will you read?
But to the woman, death the God replied, with the ironic laughter of his voice discouraging the labor of the stars. Even so man cheat the truth with splendid thoughts. Thus wilt thou hire the glorious charlatan mind to weave from his ideals gossamer air a fine raiment for thy body's new desires, and thy heart's clutching, greedy passion clot? Doubt not the web of life with magic use. Make rather thy thought a plain and faithful glass, reflecting matter and mortality, and know thy soul a product of the flesh, a made-up self in a constructed world. Thy words are large murmurs in a mystic dream. For how in the soiled heart of man could dwell the immaculate grandeur of thy dream-built God? Or who can see a face and form divine in the naked two-legged worm thou callest man? O human face, put off mind-painted masks. The animal be, the worm that nature meant. Accept thy futile birth, thy narrow life. For truth is bare like stone and hard like death. Bare in the bareness, hard with truth's hardness live.
So he's asking her to be realistic and recognize the uselessness, the poverty of the naked, two-legged worm that we call a human being. This is death's attempt, absolutely vain attempt to discourage Savitri, because her knowledge is much, much greater than anything that he can share. Now she will reply to him. Who will read this next short passage? Dilip? No? Tinka? Line 486, 4085. Tinka, I'm inviting you to read.
How it works?
Yeah, now I can hear you. Yeah? Line 485.
With sight to the dire God. Yes. Shall man by sins in humanity or the God or be down to reach or heights, and sending grief and fate and death? Yes, he is a mask of God. He dwells in me, the mover of my act, the great wheel of his work. I am the living body and the thinking instrument's power. I incarnate wisdom, earthly breast. I am his conqueror and unslayable will. The form drew in me shape. Me are the name and the secret name.
Thank you. Thank you. So I think we should stop there for today. Is that all right, Zek? Yes.
Can I still ask something?
Yes, please do.
Maybe just a sharing also. When I was just reading the part, what the Des is saying, it's so convincing. Maybe when you read it yourself loud more, but it really gets into me more than I would like.
More than you would like, yes. That's the power of death, and that's why we can listen to him. He's expressing things that are very familiar and acceptable to our human way of seeing things, but it's much more important to listen to what Savitri says, because she shares with us the truth that saves.
And it's the first time I understood why Patty never wants to read these parts.
She doesn't want to read the death parts, right? Yes, right. Yes. Okay. So thank you all. Thanks to Sri Aurobindo.
Then Death once more sent forth his angry cry. What knowest thou of earth's rich and changing light? Who thinks that one man did all joy must cease? But Savitri replies to the vague god, give me back Satyavan, my only Lord. Thy thoughts are vacant to my soul that feels the deep eternal truth in transient things. Thus, with arms speaks the great opponent stole.
Rani, why don't you join us next week and then I can ask you to read?